behind that. There's got to be security under that. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs tipped on its side. Okay? We pretend if we just do one, maybe two, we're out of here. That's called the Powell Doctrine. We got to get a lot smarter. We got to make the entire journey. So it's about taking what we call traditionally less developed countries and then turning them magically into low-cost countries. What's the difference? I want to invest in a low-cost country. What low-cost countries do is they basically fill in the blanks just enough in terms of capacity building for foreign direct investment to take over. Then you're out of the business of official developmental aid. Okay, so how do you create this new minimum standard? We look at it as a four-part process. One, there are best practices for doing this across the dial. We do not make this effort in official developmental aid. Second, we should just give them the software and the hardware up front. Shouldn't be about who runs operations in our ports. We have the capacity to scan every container coming into a port. We should just give those computers, that software, that entire package to every country that does trade with America. Because our network is only as secure as every other network we connect to. So you're going to give them all the rules too. Make it clear, make it obvious. Some rules will be generic. A central bank is a central bank everywhere. Some will be specific. If you do Islamic banking, you've got to respect local tradition in that manner. And then you got to give them the prepackaged training right up front. Turn this thing over to them as quickly as possible. Make it clear you're not staying. Quick argument about the Middle East. In the process of trying to connect the Middle East to the rest of the world, and it has not been well connected up to now. It's basically been about oil, nothing less. We have three key seams in this process. First, there's a tactical seam to the south. Al-Qaeda treats sub-Saharan Africa as basically its Cambodia to that Vietnam. It's where it hides its guns, its money, its people, its gold, its training, its future. Which is why if we're successful in the Middle East, this fight will head south. Which is why you're going to have an Africa command very, very soon. Second, operational seam lies to the north. We go on the offensive against transnational terrorism. What we do is create the same operational reach pattern we saw in the 70s and 80s. They can blow stuff up in the Middle East, and with some effort they can reach to Madrid, London, Beslan, Mumbai. What they can't do is come to America very easily. Third seam, strategic, lies to the east. What do I mean by that? 2/3 of the oil that comes out of the Straits of Hormuz today goes east, not west. America takes about 15% of the oil. In 20 years, we're going to take about 15% of the oil. Asia will take about 80%. So it's basically their oil, our blood. And they know it. And they don't like to have that conversation. Three key players in this instance. Iran is the avis of oil and gas. It has two new big friends, China and India. We are not going to successfully isolate Iran under any circumstances. In fact, Iran is the key to making stability come about in the Middle East. They can effectively veto our efforts throughout the region.